Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, and you want to support the channel, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it. So the market was up today. Dow is up 0.62%, Nasdaq up over 1%, S&P up 0.58%, and Russell going up nearly 2%. 11 sectors on top, leading the way: industrials, consumer cyclical, energy, technology, and financial here. On bottom, again, healthcare taking a massive beating, utilities, and also consumer defensive. Stock market map, what do we have here? Well, Amazon up nearly 2%. Google, yesterday we saw a big move to the downside and we actually bought the dip, and this thing exploded today from 150, came back up to 157. Eli Lilly down again, and you can see healthcare just, this could be the next sector that's going to run. And you can see, this thing is getting decimated. Tesla up over 3%. Apple up 0.63%, Microsoft going up and filling that gap at 440, up over 1%, and Nvidia staying flat. And financial names are also up, especially JPM and Bank of America. Now, if you look at right here, headlines, well, Trump unveils UK trade deal, and then he also said go and buy some stocks. And we saw that pump, and then at the end, market just faded just a tiny bit, nothing big. We got close to that daily 200 SMA, and from there, market actually backed off. So we'll see how that plays out in tomorrow's session and next few days. And now let's get right into Google. On Google stock, it's up 1.93%. So we saw that news, AI news came out with Apple that they're not going to be using that on Apple product, and that's why this thing dumped. But look at this, we actually bought the dip pretty much near the lows right here at 152ish, and these were shares. So let me tell you guys one thing. A lot of people, I know it's kind of hard to, like go and trade shares because let's say if you buy, 100 shares right here, you need, $15,000, right? A lot of people don't have that. Now, also, if you have that, well, if you caught this move, and let's say you caught just like we did, $5, $6 to the upside in the short term. I'm not talking about a long term trade. That's how much money? $500, $600 in 100 shares, right? And is it safe? Well, it's not going to decay. It's not going to go anywhere. And even if you're, holding a little bit longer, you don't have to, do anything. Where with options, a lot of traders nowadays, they just gamble and they think they can do it and they lose money. So if you're just new, starting, and just trading in this market, I would say go with shares. Big companies, Apple, Microsoft, Google, whenever you see a nice juicy dip, pick up and then sell at a higher price. And if you have to hold, just hold it. Don't sell it for loss. That's the best way to go and start trading, especially when you're actually a newbie, new trader in the market. Now, if you can go and blow up your account buying zero duties, I have seen that in at least last 5 years as I'm running this, Patreon group, that people come in and go, they burn their account, they buy these 0 DTs or 1 DT, 2 DT, and next thing you know, the stock is going lower and they're just averaging down more and nothing left. And well, time ran out, right? On those options. And, market makers and option sellers, they took profit and you're pretty much left with nothing. So instead of gambling, this is a perfect example where we bought the dip, sold, we kind of went half away, not even half away, retracing this massive bearish engulfing candle. And that's why I took profit because, if you look at it, it's kind of like a bear flag forming here on Google. And we pretty much took out this 155 range. And this thing came back up today to 157 plus. So I took profit. It was really nice. And now it's holding 155. So going into tomorrow's session, 155, your key line in the sand. If that does not hold, this thing will come back to 150, 148, and then 145. To the upside, there will be resistance at 159, 162, and over that, you're going to see a pump back up to the upside on Google. On AMD, it's up 1.34%. So AMD, I actually picked up some calls yesterday, and they were actually a little bit underwater. I actually added a little bit more, and then I was just holding. I sold half of my position end of the day just before closing yesterday. Obviously, I did not cover the stock market and these big names yesterday. Just taking my time off. It was a nice day outside, so that's why I did not cover these, big names. But it was a really good setup because today, this morning, I sold other half of my position. It was fantastic. It was 104. That's where I sold, and then this thing pumped up even more. Also, 106, 105, 106 over this upper Bollinger Band, and then things were pulling back. So I think AMD, if you look at my screen, guys, finally I can say this that AMD reversal is here. And why? You can see, these moving averages, they're actually moving up, and we got 5-day moving average already crossing above 50, and these moving averages also crossing over this 50 in next coming days. It's going to happen, and as long as AMD is over 98, it's bullish, and you're going to see a move up to 108.68 up to even 110 in the short term. So reversal, it's here. So far, we do have a nice uptrend, and as long as AMD is over 98, I would say remain bullish on the stock. Under 98, the next big level to watch right here, 94.38. And then we left a massive gap up and down here. But on our way back, there will be support at 90 and then 87.17, this gap down here. To the upside, looks like it's finding some resistance right here at 105. So if we can get over that, this gap will likely to get filled in next few days, just under 109. And then we can even retest 110, and over that we will talk about more upside because there's a bunch of gaps on top on AMD, and if this is actually a real reversal, you're going to see more and more upside. And I'm still holding, a lot of shares of AMD, and I'm waiting to see if this thing can actually break out in a big way where we see a massive pump up to 160, 170 here on AMD. And that can happen. We can possibly go to 200, but is it going to happen tomorrow, next week? No, that is not why I'm in, because most people, they buy something and they want the money right away, next day. AMD is a longer term play, and I think it's going to do really well in next couple months. On Netflix, it's finally down 1%, came down to 1139. But if you look at my screen right here, 1145.62, it's not really holding, but it's just there. It's trying to hold this 5-day moving average. We're out of this uptrend, and now it's just bouncing back and forth. We got up to 150 plus today, came back in. So first red day after a long time. You can see all these candles are green, guys. Now 150, that is what we have to clear, and if that's clear to the upside, we might see a push, maybe up to a brand new all-time high once again. Now, under 150 and under 145, this thing can come back all the way down to $1,117. And from there, look at this. There's nothing really here. It can actually come down all the way down to 1,065. And talking about extremely overbought, well, let me show you guys something right here. Look at this on monthly time frame. And I'm going to show you guys that what happened last time, 2021, right? And then just recently, it was right here, and then came back. We gave up like $200. So now it's almost 81 on the RSI on monthly time frame, and that is extremely overbought. At some point, this thing will give up, some of the gains. That's for sure. On Apple stock, it's up 0.63%. So Apple, we had that news yesterday. Apple also dropped, did close this gap. We added some, more new contracts right here on Apple, and now things are going back up to the upside. What's unfortunate for the day that Apple did not hold 198. It was over 198. It was holding all day, but into closing got that, bit of a rejection, and now we got a doji type candle. You can see right on my screen. So 198 breaks and holds, it can possibly make a move up to 200, 202, and over that you're going to see Apple going up to 205 and up to this gap at some point, just over 207, 208. So Apple definitely, I mean, we had that pullback, but right now it's just digesting that pullback with that news. And if this thing is able to hold over 198, which is a key weekly level, then you're going to see these gaps also getting filled. So just because we came down and we did close this gap yesterday does not mean that Apple cannot move. We saw that massive move, and we bought a lot of the Apple shares, and the contracts went to the moon on that massive move to the upside. We sold before earnings, And just because we're closing this gap and there is a small tiny pullback does not mean that Apple cannot go back up and close these gaps here on upside, one at almost 209 and one at 221. On Microsoft, it's up over 1%. So finally, Microsoft did close this gap at, what was that, 441 right here. And now it did not hold. It actually got up to 443, which we talked about it in my video right here. And now it's trading at 438. So if you look at my screen, 5-day moving average moved up. So there will be, pullbacks right down here at 435. That's going to act as a support. And if that don't hold, we might see a pullback down to right here, 431, 68 right here, and below that 425, and then this thing wants to run. You can see the Bollinger Band pretty much up here at 450. They had good earnings, so on a stock like Microsoft, when they have good earnings, I can see Microsoft hitting these levels right here at 447, 448. So it can go there, and we were almost there today at 443.67. So watch out. Continuation to the upside can definitely happen here on Microsoft. But on a pullback, these are buying opportunity on the stock. I don't think anytime soon you're going to see this gap getting filled. And that's how things are with earnings. It's an earnings gap up, and now things will run maybe at a later date, couple weeks later, maybe even a couple months later, you'll see these gaps getting filled. But if you're buying puts blindly, you're not gonna get paid on Microsoft because it's got the momentum, it's got the earnings, it's got the push, and it will just continue to move higher. You're gonna get shallow pullbacks, and these are gonna be buying opportunity on the stock. On Meta, it's actually flat on the day. And if you look at my screen, it was up to 611 today, but immediately things pulled back and came under 600. So there is something stopping here at 600. It needs to get over 600 and possibly over 614. And then you're going to see a push up to possibly this high right here, 628 to 638. Now to the downside, below 600, critical level to watch right here, 595, which was holding today, low for the day, 596. We did not even touch 5-day moving average. But if that gives up at some point, we get some bad news, bad catalyst. In that case, watch out for the next level down here, 578, 50-day moving average. And we do have this gap, massive gap down here, which won't get filled until we get down to 549 on Meta. On Tesla stock, it's up over 3%. So Tesla definitely, I mean, after Elon actually said that he's coming out of Doge, it's doing really well. And if you look at my screen, it's just coiling up inside this wedge. And we're about to see a breakout because there is a well target here on Tesla, which is 300. So I think it can get up there. It can definitely get up there. And look at today, almost 290. And this is where it's finding a rejection, this trend line here. So if this thing clears 290, it's heading up for 300 to even 305. To the downside, there is a gap below here, but so far you can see it's holding over 280. So 280 and below, this could be a nice dip buying opportunity as long as gap fill reversal can act as a support below 280, 277.92. But if that gives up, we have another gap down here, and we can come down and fill these gaps down here on Tesla. But as of right now, you can see right on my screen, it's pretty much coiling up here. And if this thing wants to move, it needs to get over 290, and it's heading higher. And there is volume on Tesla, so I think Tesla is ready to run as long as it can actually stay over 280 and gets that breakout over 290. On Amazon stock, it's up 1.79%. So Amazon got up to 194, got a little bit of pushback. We got a doji type candle, and it's holding over 190. So technically, it's over all these moving averages, and it's looking bullish for a move up to this gap just under 200. So Amazon 190 to 191, your key line in the sand. And why 191? Because this 50-day moving average underneath that level, you might see a flush down to 184 and then 183 down to even 180. But as long as this thing is staying here over 190, I think it can go up to 200 to close this gap just below 200 here. And then we can talk about even more upside on Amazon. So Nvidia stock is absolutely flat on the day, slightly green on the day, 0.26%, but you can see we got a rejection here at 118 and came back and now trading at 117.37, pretty much unchanged for the day. So Nvidia, I mean, first time we got, a higher high And you can see we got over this high, and that is a new high in the trend count, and it's trying to actually get over 118. It's trading over 50-day moving average, and the 200-day is declining, but it's right up here close to 125, 126. So I mean, we saw SPY hitting daily 200 SMA today and getting a rejection. So I think it can definitely come up here before earnings and retest this daily 200 SMA, and that can happen definitely on Nvidia stock right now with the momentum. So Nvidia, it gets over 118, game on for a move up to 125 to 126. If this thing stays under 118, watch out for a move down here, possibly down here at 111. This 50-day moving average can act as a support. Underneath that, we have a gap at 109, and there is also support at 107. And that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated on big mega cap stocks. Have a great night, everybody.